Hey Legrand Alive, welcome to The Second Pot, the show on which old Coffee with Will guests come back for a second round of suffering. I'm Will Bowman, and this is the first episode of this new show, and for that special occasion, we have here today with us Matt Sheeks, who is an ex-Coffee with Will guest and a local web designer expert, and he is here today to talk with us a little bit about himself and some of the new fun things he's doing in the field of web design. Now, this show is brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Anything 2 Digital, EONI, and Les Schwab Tire Center. So, Matt, thank you so much for again coming back onto the show and joining me for this funness. Now, you might notice, I
like your shirt.
Yeah, I have a special shirt on for the occasion, both as a celebration of our first episode of The Second Pot, but also a little bit of an ode to a good friend of mine. Now, there was a guy, someone gave me this shirt. This is a special shirt, and I was kind of looking at it before the episode, and some of the things that I appreciate the most about it is, we have Donald Trump standing strong and powerful here. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we also have, I believe, here it is. We have the eagle with the machine gun.
I like the eagle the best, yeah. The eagle with the cyclical magazine.
Yeah,
and the machine gun is firing.
Just kind of unloading lots of ammunition. Yeah.
Lots of patriotism in that t-shirt.
But I think the thing that really knocks the shirt out is the subtleties, and what makes this work of art is the little dollar, the dollars falling from the explosion behind
nice.
Donald J. Trump.
I hadn't noticed that.
So yeah, that's the subtleties that are intrinsic to this shirt.
This shirt suits you, man. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Will Bowman, Donald Trump sitting on a tank. I can see why you would like to wear a shirt like that.
We're going to premiere another show called The Tank, where I'm going to do an interview series on top of a tank, and we're gonna see who comes out the winner on every one of those.
I can think of a tank down by the airport that you could get on top of. You could probably ask permission and you could actually get that done.
We absolutely could. I can wear this shirt every single time.
Yeah.
Now, we're also going to be today, so we start, one thing we're doing on the show is we're starting out the show with a game. And today we're going to do Trump trivia with Mr. Matt here. Now, we're doing a lot of Trump stuff here today. So, Matt, you want to give a little context as to why we're doing a lot of Trump stuff for your episode?
Yeah, so the reason that Will is putting me through the suffering with the Trump trivia that's coming up is, so I was co-best man at Will's wedding. And so I got to plan the bachelor party, and that's always a mistake having me involved with those things. So I usually just try to torture my victims as much as possible. So Will is kind of a pacifist of some sort, and we made him shoot a gun.
There you got it.
The second thing was that I made him run an entire marathon up at 5,000 feet in the heat. And he may or may not have passed out in a lookout tower, fire lookout.
Yeah.
And then Will's also a vegetarian, and we made him eat meat.
This is a big moment. I can feel the Trump spirit flowing through my blood. Vegetarianism, you're fired.
And the last thing that we did was we took a Sharpie and we made Will take off his shirt.
This shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Prior to, at the restaurant where he ate the meat, he was wearing this shirt.
Yep.
But then he had to go down Adams on a bicycle, and we took a Sharpie into his hairy back. You can probably guess based on the amount of hair here, kind of on the upper arms, like what the back is like.
You don't need to be visualizing.
So we Sharpied into his back, honk if you love Trump. And his goal, what he had to do was get 10 honks by going up and down Adams on his bike.
Woo! I'm a winner!
which I actually got remarkably quickly here in LeGrand. So I think it was probably a good solid, like, what, 5 minutes before I got those.
It did not take long to get.
And I think we ran the numbers, and 87.6% of the honks that I got were from large trucks.
Large pickups, yeah. So it definitely trended along sort of stereotypical lines. You know, the Priuses would drive right by, and the big pickups would
honk right away. So in keeping with all of Matt's wonderful bachelor party, I decided here today for our first episode, to play Trump trivia for the game. So now, are you ready for this, Matt?
I'm not ready for this. Since Trump has gotten elected, I've gotten a lot of work lately, so I have not had a chance to study up. I've been busy.
Well, that's okay, because the amount of intelligence that is required for my games on this show is probably, you know, very, very low on the IQ scale. So what we're going to do, LeGrand Alive, for this game, now we have, as you can see here, our little coffee pot. This coffee pot is open for sponsorship, so if you're interested in playing the coffee pot sponsor for the second pot, reach out to us here. But we're going to turn the coffee pot on, and there is grounds and water in the coffee, and it is going to brew, and when the coffee is brewed, the game is over, and we're going to continue to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about Matt and some of the things he's doing right now. So, Matt, would you do us the honor of starting the coffee pot as soon as I can get my questions out?
Okay. 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. So the coffee is brewing. The light is on. It doesn't look like it's on, but it is on. All right. So our first question. Now, I started easy with you here. So the first question from the Donald Trump trivia is, Donald Trump ran for president with what campaign slogan? So option 1, make America strong again. Option 2, make America great again. Option 3, make America cool like Eminem again. Option 4, make America Disneyland again.
You just wanted to say those options.
Absolutely, 100%.
I believe it's the second one, make America great again.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
Well, you are correct. That was the answer, make America great again.
I don't have a clever spin on that, so we'll just go with what is the right answer.
Well, you are correct. That is the correct answer. All right, you got one. We're moving on. All right, question number 2. As a teenager, Donald Trump punched which teacher of his in the face? 1, his music teacher. 2, his business teacher. 3, his film and media teacher. Or 4, failure was Donald's greatest teacher and he punched it square in the face.
Oh, I'm going to have to go with the 4th option.
You're going to have to go with the 4th option? Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
Yeah, just because I feel like it.
Well, that is the incorrect answer. I mean, it's probably the correct answer, but the real historically correct answer is option 1, his music teacher. Donald Trump was largely sent to a military school because he was such a bad kid and did things like punching music teachers in the face. So that is the answer. So you're 1 and 1.
That's pretty believable. I'll buy that. Yeah.
All right. So we got question number 3. The coffee has started brewing and we're cooking along here. So, question number 3. Trump claims what Christian denomination as his own? Option 1, Presbyterian. Option 2, Baptist. Option 3, Unitarian. Option 4, Catholic, but only because he likes the idea of eating real meat in church.
I believe it's Presbyterian.
Presbyterian, option number 1.
Yep.
Are you sure about that? Final answer?
That's my final answer, yeah.
Well, you are correct.
Nice.
That is right. Good job. Right there.
There's some skill involved in that one.
How did you deduce that one, if you don't mind me asking?
I listened to an interview, and he said he was Presbyterian, and then they pressed him on, like, hey, does a person actually need to, like, receive Christ by faith in order to have their sins forgiven? And he just really waffled on it. And he was like, yeah, I don't know so much about that. I don't focus on that so
much.
The
church that he does claim a Presbyterian church, but that church is hesitant to say that he's an active member of the church. But we can just leave it that.
Yeah.
So, so question number 4. So this is a good one right here. This is a good one. So according to an aid manager, the 4 major food groups on Trump Force One, and that's Air Force One, except for Trump Force One, are, and this is a real question, this does have a real answer. Option 1, Macy's steaks, chicken breast, chewing gum, and vodka. Option 2, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, pizza, and Diet Coke. Option 3, fruit, vegetables, dairy products, and artificial sweeteners. Or 4, there's not 4 food groups. Trump eats losers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I can repeat those if you need me to.
You know what? I've heard that he really likes his steak and he has it like all the time. So I'm going to go with the one that had steak at the beginning.
So option number 1, Macy's steak, chicken breast, chewing gum, and vodka.
Yep.
Final answer?
Final answer.
It's a good guess, but it's actually incorrect. The correct answer is McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, pizza, and Diet Coke. And that is a real, I promise you, a real quote from one of the
I heard from someone that works in the in the Trump administration. Previously, he was in the Obama administration. That Trump eats steak like every meal.
And so, that's one of the reasons that was in there, because he does like his steaks as well.
Okay, a little bit tricky.
Yeah, I know. Got it. All right. So that's all right. You are 2 for 4. 2 for 4.
2 for 4.
All right. So next question. We're cooking along here on the coffee pot. So next question. Donald Trump's hair was known by what nickname when he was in college? Option 1, the soft serve. 2, the aggressive cowlick. Option 3, the Boston swing. Option 4, the I can't turn right. 5, the more flyaways than LAX. 6, the troll doll. Or 7, there's no right answer to this question. Will made them all up based on a Google image search. So now you have to show whether a little bit of your knowledge of me.
Oh. I think you made it up.
You think I made it up?
Yeah.
Those are like, there's some really good ones there. I don't think I'm that clever. I don't know, man. Is that your final answer?
Sure, why not?
Well, you are correct. I made all
those
up.
All right.
I
think I'm above 60%.
You are. You are exactly at 60%.
D's equal degrees, you know.
If you were studying, you would almost have a degree in Trumpism right now.
Awesome.
All right, so this is probably our last question.
Yep, we're getting towards the end here.
Yep, it's coming up. I can hear it starting to grumble. So according to Forbes magazine, Donald Trump was ranked how high on the world's richest people scale? So option 1, 85th. Option 2, 324th. Option 3, 379th. And option 4, first, but only if you account for his massive Scrooge McDuck classic memorabilia collection he hosts in his bedroom.
I'm going to go with 85th.
85th?
Yeah.
All right. That is the coffee's done. So is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
This is the difference between doing 50-50 and coming in at 67-37.
I could be way wrong on this, but I'm just going to go with 85th.
All right, 85th final answer.
Uh-huh.
Well, that is the incorrect final answer. No. It is actually 324th.
324th.
And 85th was a little bit high, but that's okay. He's still on the Forbes magazine list, so I think he can get some kudos for that. So good job, Matt. 50-50.
All right.
I feel like for not prepping.
I got one quick Trump trivia question for you.
Uh-oh.
What was the name of the bicycle race that Donald Trump sponsored in the United States?
Bicycle race?
Yeah, he sponsored a bicycle race. Yeah.
Oh, geez, I don't know the answer to that one. Was it the Cafefe Man?
The Cafefe Man? I don't even know what that means. It was actually
no one else does, but Donald does.
It was actually the Tour de Trump. There literally was a bike race sponsored by, and of course he just decided to call it the Tour de Trump, right?
In that context, here we go. We're gonna pour the coffee.
What nationality was the winner of that bike race?
Trumpist?
Mexico.
Mexican.
Raul Alcala from Mexico won the Tour de Trump. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Well, let's toast to Raul de, what is his name?
Raul Alcala.
Raul Alcala. Here's to you, Raul Alcala, for winning the Tour de Trump.
Tour de Trump champion. I wish I could say that, but oh well.
And with that, we're going to cut to a couple of clips really quick of Matt's Coffee with Will before we get into the conversation.
So a duathlon is typically you run first and then you bike and then you run again, whereas a triathlon is typically swim first, bike second, run third. So if you want to think about it, it's most dangerous if you pass out or have an episode first, and then it's a descending scale to where if you had some sort of problem, you
just fall over.
You fall over.
Drowning.
Instead of drowning, exactly. I don't know, every day I wake up and I'm just I'll look outside and I'll look at the mountains and the blue skies, and I'm not used to that, okay? It's still a novelty to me, and I'm like, wow, I'm so blessed to be here in this town. But things have, I feel like the LeGrand area is just like opened up in so many other respects. Like I have an opportunity to be involved with the spiritual development of the college athletes with Athletes in Action, and that's something that I'm really passionate about, serving the community by helping people that are going through something similar to what I went through, and helping them draw closer to God through that process.
So those were a couple of clips from what was one of the first Coffee with Wills that was ever aired on LeGrand Live. It was one of the first times I had ever met Matt, and it was about 2 years ago, and you can notice that by the wonderful pile of cores that we had lying in there, and the nice backdrop of the drape, and my wonderful vest that I wore for the occasion. So we talked a little bit, as you saw, about what Matt saw on LeGrand, but also, he talked a little bit about his faith, and a couple things I wanted to talk to you about here today is something that you may not know is Matt recently has sort of started and started moving in the direction of a web design and SEO business called White Hat Matt. And essentially he does web design and what's called search engine optimization. Now, search engine optimization is kind of a complicated thing, but for us sort of dumb web consumers who don't know, a header from a subheader 3, could you explain to us sort of what the important things about SEO and what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And why would somebody pay you for that?
Okay, so here's how it works. So a lot of companies would like to rank higher in Google and possibly other search engines. So if someone's typing in a keyword, maybe it's restaurant in LeGrand or best places to eat in LeGrand.
Which I know you do LeGrand Live.
People do this quite frequently. In fact, I think LeGrand Restaurant gets like 1,000 searches per month.
Which is a lot.
With search engines, there's often a high transactional intent with people typing in these keywords to Google. A lot of times if you want to visit a business, I bet that you're typing it into either Google or Google Maps.
Yep.
So being in those results, that can equate to big money, right? And those results, like the top 10 that you usually see, those are not paid results. So you'll see the ones that say ad by them, and those ones are paid, obviously. Yep. And the other ones are considered organic, and those are based on merit. And the eyeballs usually go to those ones anyway, because everybody knows that the ads are probably less relevant to them, and they're going to go to the organic results. So you can see how with certain keywords, it would be very desirable for your business's website to be in those results.
Yeah.
So then there's a practice of just optimizing your website so that hopefully Google does rank you higher, and probably the goal for most people is to be on the first page.
Yeah. So when I searched Trump trivia preparing for today's game, the websites that were higher on that list generally did a better job of what Matt calls optimizing their website so that they would be higher on the results list, so that I would go there, which would generate them ad revenue, which ultimately turns into money for their owners. Now, so and there is so much that goes into this that most people don't even really realize. But like, say somebody is starting, a website. So what are sort of some of the really basic, like if someone was to go out and start like a blog, like a WordPress blog, to blog about how great Donald Trump is and all those kinds of things.
Yeah. Is that your blog?
It's going to be Bieber and Trump.
Oh, nice. That's a good combo.
Yeah.
I was actually looking for that the other day, so I'm going to...
It's a very, very high search, highly searched for.
I'm going to give you a bookmark for sure.
So what would a couple of tips be for someone who is starting a blog or a basic website from the mind of someone who does this?
To do SEO.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Is what you're saying? The primary thing that you can do is that would give you the quickest results is called on-page SEO. And on-page is basically things that you can control on your website. So the process typically involves, you want to figure out what all those keywords are that people are typing into Google. So there's various tools that you can use to discover different keywords that might be related to what you have to offer. obviously you could try to rank for a keyword like Bieber and Trump, but
Will's going to own that keyword.
Will's going to own it all. It's going to be too competitive. Will's going to knock it out of the park. That's problem number one. Yeah. Problem number two is that like, where's the money in the Bieber and Trump content? You know, maybe ad revenue, but that probably doesn't fit your business. So you probably want to see if there's keywords related to your business, right?
Yeah.
So the first part is trying to find those keywords and trying to find out how much people are searching for those. And then those need to go onto your website somewhere. So Google needs to know that your website is about that topic, right?
Yeah.
And so keywords and related keywords to your primary keyword, they need to eventually end up on your site. And there's various places that have priority.
Yeah.
That they can go, such as you mentioned, the headings.
Yep.
Like that potentially makes a small difference if you put a keyword in a heading versus just in the body of your content.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that you can control, is getting the good keywords that you think are related to your business, and might end up getting you customers at the end of the day.
So if you're a coffee shop owner,
yeah,
you are going to want to, find out what people are searching for online, and then 2, you're going to want to use those words on your site, essentially.
Yeah, in a natural, non-tacky way.
Yeah, so don't just make a whole paragraph of the words caramel macchiato breve just on the top of your page. That would not be a tasteful way of doing that.
Yeah, and in the past, people got away with saying like, welcome to our LeGrand coffee shop. We are the best LeGrand coffee shop in LeGrand, Oregon. We think you will like our LeGrand coffee shop macchiato, and it would read really bad. And now there's a little bit more emphasis, or there's quite a bit more emphasis on the quality of your website versus just stuffing the keywords in there.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother topic as far as there's some nuance there, and you have to balance those objectives. Getting keywords on there and actually solving the person's question that was behind the keyword. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So so we've kind of talked a little bit about the shop, and I kind of want to talk a little bit more about you and how you found yourself in this. So web design, you're an athlete. You're you do training.
Yeah.
How did that translate over to web design for you? What was the mental jump going from I'm training people how to run fast and bike fast and swim fast, to I'm going to go into web design and help people to get high on Google, essentially?
Well, for one, I had a good ambassador. So my friend Mike needed someone to do SEO. He has a web design business in Seattle that's pretty successful. And so I was working for him doing it. And obviously then I had to read and research how to do my job. A lot of it was just kind of self-study, right? But I had to be able to provide this service that was part of the process of creating the complete website for his business, Yanko Design. I think that there's a competitive element in SEO. There are the rankings 1 through 10, and then anything on the other pages besides
there's
that.
The winners, page 1, and then there's the losers, page 2.
There's the winners, so we can harness our Trump spirit there a little bit, and we want to be the winners.
Yeah.
No, but there's a kind of a creative element to SEO and web design. There's a strategic element and there's a technical element. And I've always done well in environments that are like that. They involve the head, they involve strategy, they involve some creativity. And one thing that I really liked about triathlon racing was that, once you got your professional license, you can just register for any race with a pro field, and you're up there against the best triathletes in the world, and you could potentially knock them down on any day if you're if you're better than them. You can just show up and win. And there's very few gatekeepers. You got to get the pro license, and you have to make it past your governing body for the sport, for your country. But once you've done that, you can basically go up against the top guys, and if you outfoxed them, if you outsmarted them, if you outtrained them, if you outworked them, you can win, you can beat them, right? And then you can say, I outran Craig Alexander or whatever.
Yeah, wow. I don't know who that is, but I believe you.
Yeah, but you can say stuff like that. So I like that there were very few like gatekeepers in triathlon, and I think the same thing is actually true in SEO. Like if you create something that's better, there's very few, like there's no one that you have to get past in order to get that ranking. You can bypass kind of the normal channels of like you needing someone else's subjective approval. Right? In triathlon, there's no like judge saying, hey, you got a 9.9 and a 9.5. It's like, it doesn't matter how ugly it was. Like if you cross the finish line first, like, that's it, right?
Which, that's kind of very interesting to me, and this will kind of transition us into right now. Because it sounds like, the triathlon, it's very merit-based. Like, what you put in, you get out, and whoever's in best shape, ultimately wins, With SEO, it's similar, whoever puts in the most to their website, will ultimately come up on the top of Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo or whatever the heck, search engine. So it's very merit-based, like you put in work, you're going to have results kind of a thing.
Okay.
Is that right? Is that true? Is that accurate?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
so
for sure.
The interesting thing about me now this is something else I've kind of noticed, because one other thing that Matt talked about on his previous one is sort of his faith and his investment in the gospel and Christianity, and that's something that he's continued to sort of actively pursue in the form of ministry and and so on and so forth. He's active in several ministry organizations. Now, sort of one of the fundamentals of the gospel is that it's not merit-based. It's grace-based. You have your merit, which is a thing here.
Yeah,
and
something you earn.
And then you have the
grace, something you didn't earn.
Something you didn't earn. So it's very interesting to me that you're very drawn to those merit-based things, whereas the gospel, at the same time, you are sort of drawn to the gospel, which is grace-based.
Well, and I don't know what other athletes go through necessarily, but in triathlon, there's always something more that you can do, right? Like you can get better sleep, you can do better nutrition, you can always train more, like just go out longer, right, than the next guy. And like that could give you better results. And through realizing that it's this holistic thing, you realize how short you fall from perfection, right? Same thing with websites, I like to say we all fall short of the glory of Andy Crestodina, right? He has the... That's
what I like to say too!
Yeah, exactly, Andy, you know him.
Andy, we go with
He has a web design agency in Chicago, and he's supposed to be like...
the top tier.
Yeah, you want to like emulate that guy, right? But we all have these mistakes on our website and things that we know like could be better. And so it's just at that point, it's just like trying to be better than like the average, or realizing that things are graded on a curve. But you do realize like how much you could be doing that you're not, that you fail to do. So maybe there's a connection there, that helps me realize like how much I could do that I don't achieve. And that's because of my human weakness, and so there could be a parallel drawn there to realizing like I fall short of the glory of God. I'm in need of, I need God's perfection to be able to make it to the afterlife, to eternal life, and God demands that. I fall short of that, so I need the righteousness of somebody else.
So right? In SEO terms, that's like you, in order to become the SEO guru that you are, you have to have the perfection of Andy, what's his name? Crestodina, but you're always going to be at the level of, I don't know, whatever, of Matt Sheeks, which is not quite there. And so there's almost a sort of level of like humility that the gospel, like of an accurate self-view of like, well, yeah, I'm good at these things, because you're a professional athlete. You're obviously good at, what you do, but there's always a level that you could be better, and that's where the gospel comes in. And that, am I kind of getting that? Am I getting in the right general area here?
I think you're getting it if I'm following you correctly. But I think you're doing well. So even in grace, there's the acknowledgement of merit and works, right? That we just have to rely on the merit and the works of somebody else, Jesus's finished work for us on the cross, right?
So we got to rely on Jesus's SEO when our SEO
Jesus'
falls short.
SEO when our SEO falls short. And you know, gosh dang it, like my SEO, like it could be better, and God's blessed that anyway. Maybe that's a grace thing too, right?
Well, there you go, there you go. So last question, you know, like, so, you know, you've obviously, this will be the last question, we're kind of running out of time here. It's been super, super fun. So, you know, you've obviously planted roots here, professionally, you know, personally, spiritually, you know, what are you going to hope to do in the Grand, you know, living in the Grand now that you have gotten married, you know, been here, what are you going to try and do for the Grand?
For La Grande?
Yeah, or in La Grande.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that, you know, one of the reasons that I started White Hat Matt is that there's a lot of websites that, you know, just need improvement in the area, and Eastern Oregon was a little bit behind in that area. So, you know, my goal, it's not super lofty, is just to provide an excellent service and do it with integrity for those organizations and businesses that need me, and be able to serve them the best I can. So, you know, at the beginning, like I was kind of like all the bloggers that I read about, like in SEO and web design. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to blog like, you know, once a week, and, you know, I'm going to crush the competition and do this. And, you know, now that I actually have like business coming in, it's like, okay, I need to like I'm only one guy. I got to realize my limitations here. Like, I just want to be able to provide like a good service and good value for the people that are like paying me to do what I do. So that's the main thing. And then hopefully that gives their business a boost. Like ultimately the goal is not just to create a pretty website, but one that's going to get results. And that's where SEO has proved to be so important for these websites that I'm doing.
Well, there you go. Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming in and having coffee with me, goofing off with me for yet another episode of another interview. I never know why you do it, you know, or why people do it, but they keep coming back for some odd reason. So thank you, Matt.
It has been really fun. I'm glad we clarified that the second pot had to do with coffee, you know, not any other types of paraphernalia.
You didn't drink much of your coffee.
This was good coffee, so thank you. I'm not sure if you put anything special in here, but I hope not.
It's special coffee. Well, just leave it at that. And thank you, La Grande Alive. Thanks for tuning in yet again. Thanks. I don't know why you keep tuning in, but you do. So please like and share this video. One more big shout out to our sponsors, Grand Ron Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, Les Schwab, and Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They're great sponsors. Some of them have just been with us for a really long time. If you see them, just give them a big thank you. I'm Will Bowman. We'll see you next time on the next episode of The Second Pot.